You see your dog do these things every single day. It barks when someone approaches. It watches you, like it's keeping guard. And sometimes it comes closer and licks your hand or your face. Everything seems completely normal. But there's something that most people have never truly understood. None of these behaviors are random. They're not just habits, and they're not unconscious. They are a form of communication, a kind of language built from emotion and instinct. And if you've never realized this before, then maybe you've been missing the most important signals your dog has been trying to show you all along. So make sure you watch until the end.
There are behaviors your dog shows that you've seen hundreds of times, but you've only ever looked at them as simple reactions. A stretch the moment you walk into the room, sitting down as soon as it starts to rain, or the way it suddenly ignores you, even though it clearly heard everything. Each of these actions has a reason, a specific meaning, and sometimes it's far more complex than you think. In this video, we're going to go through 12 of the most common behaviors, but also the most misunderstood ones in dogs, so you don't just see them, but truly understand what your dog has been trying to tell you.
When you walk into the room and your dog immediately stretches, front legs forward, chest lowered, you might think it's just loosening its muscles. But it's not. In the world of dogs, this is a very clear social signal, a form of body language that expresses safety and friendly intent. This movement is similar to a play bow, an invitation to interact, but also a way of saying, I'm not a threat. And when your dog does this, the moment it sees you, it's not a physical reaction. It's an emotional one. Your presence makes it feel calmer.
You're out on a walk. Everything feels normal. Then the first drops of rain start to fall. And suddenly, your dog stops. It sits down and refuses to move. You might think it's being stubborn, or lazy, or just trying to resist you. But it's not. To a dog, rain isn't just water. It's a major shift in the environment. Sounds become unfamiliar. Scents get distorted. The ground turns slippery. And from a survival instinct, when the world suddenly feels unclear, they choose to stop, to observe, to assess. Not because they don't want to move forward, but because they're trying to make sure everything is still safe. You sneeze, and instantly your dog turns toward you. It stares. Sometimes it even comes closer, maybe even licks your face. You might think it's just being curious or startled by the sudden sound, but it's more than that. To a dog, a sneeze isn't just noise. It's an emotional signal. A sudden sound combined with body movement and a change in facial expression. In dog communication, they actually sneeze during play to show excitement without aggression. So when you sneeze, your dog isn't just hearing it. It believes something just happened, something involving you.
You call it, come here. It looks at you very clearly, but then it turns away as if it never heard a thing. You might think it's being stubborn or deliberately ignoring you, but it's not. Dogs don't just hear, they evaluate. Every command you give is tied to an outcome in their memory. If come here usually means the fun ends,
the leash goes on, or freedom is taken away, they hesitate. Not because they don't understand, but because they're making a choice. And when your voice carries tension or inconsistency, that decision becomes even more predictable.
You're out on a walk, and suddenly, your dog stops. Just one small spot on the ground, but it keeps sniffing for a long time. You pull the leash. You call its name, but it stays there. You might think it's wasting time or just being overly curious, but it's not. To a dog, scent isn't just a smell. It's information. In that one small spot, there could be traces of many other dogs. Who passed by, how long ago, what condition they were in. A dog's sense of smell processes the world the way you read a story. And when it stays there that long, it's not just sniffing. It's reading. You're at home, and suddenly, your dog starts barking. It could be footsteps outside the door, or just someone passing by. You might think it's being noisy, or overreacting. But it's not. Barking is a form of communication. When someone approaches, your dog isn't just reacting. It's doing several things at once. Alerting you, assessing the situation, and regulating its own emotional state. Some dogs bark out of protection. Some out of excitement. Some because they're unsure what's happening. The important part isn't the barking itself. It's what happens next. Because without clear structure, that feeling of uncertainty only grows stronger. You're out on a walk, and suddenly, your dog lowers its head. It starts eating grass, like a completely different animal. You might think it has a stomach problem, or something is wrong with its body, but not exactly. In some cases, grass can trigger vomiting and help soothe the stomach. But most of the time, dogs eat grass without throwing up at all, because this behavior is also instinctive. Their ancestors used to consume plant matter indirectly through prey, and that habit still remains. Sometimes it's just curiosity, or they enjoy the texture and the taste. But if it happens repeatedly, it could mean their body is trying to tell you something. Then you notice it, scratching at the couch, digging into blankets, even at the floor itself. You might think it's being destructive or just too playful, but it's not. Digging is a deeply rooted instinct. Some breeds were literally born to do this, but even without a clear purpose, they still do it. Because it's a way to release energy, reduce stress, and create a sense of comfort. Many dogs dig before lying down to sleep, like a ritual to prepare their space. And when the environment feels uncomfortable, temperature, noise, or anxiety, this behavior starts to show up more often. There's something in your home that many dogs simply can't tolerate. Not strangers, not thunder, but the vacuum cleaner. You turn it on, and instantly your dog backs away, or starts barking or runs off. You might think it's just afraid of the noise, but it's not that simple. To a dog, this is a complete threat. High-frequency sound, strong vibrations, unpredictable movement, and most importantly, no scent, no familiar signals, nothing it can understand. So that fear response isn't irrational. It's
a survival instinct kicking in.
When everything goes quiet and your dog is fast asleep, you might notice its legs twitch slightly, its ears flick. Sometimes it even makes soft sounds. You might think something is wrong or that it's having a health issue, but it's not. Dogs dream too. During deep sleep, their brain becomes highly active. Memories from the day play back little by little. Walks, moments with you. And those small movements are just signals from the brain slipping through a relaxed body. It's not a sign of anything wrong. It's actually a sign of a healthy mind.
There are moments right after your dog finishes relieving itself when it suddenly starts running wildly, circling, accelerating, as if it's just been released from something. You might think it's being hyper or simply too excited, but it's not. To a dog, going to the bathroom is a very vulnerable moment. In the wild, it's when they are at their weakest. And right after it's over, the body releases that tension. Built up energy bursts out into movement. Along with that, they scratch the ground to spread scent from the glands in their paws. It's not chaos. It's a feeling of relief, fully released.
And then we come to the behavior that most people misunderstand the most. When your dog comes closer and gently licks your hand or your face, you might think it's just a habit or a simple sign of affection. But it's more than that. From the time they are puppies, they lick their mother to seek care and safety. And as they grow, that behavior doesn't disappear. It becomes a way to bond. But even more than that, dogs can sense changes in your body. Stress, anxiety, sadness. All of it has a scent they can detect. And when your dog licks you, it's not just showing love. It's trying to comfort you. As if it's saying, I'm here.
When you look back at all of this, you start to realize something. Your dog has never been acting randomly. Every look, every movement, every small reaction is part of how it communicates with you. Not through words, but through emotion and instinct. And maybe all this time, it's been trying to tell you something. It's just that you were never really listening. And maybe after this video, you'll start to see your dog in a completely different way. Not just as a pet, but as a being that's always watching you, understanding you in its own way. If you recognized any of these behaviors, take a moment to think back. When did your dog do that? And at that moment, what were you feeling? Share it in the comments, because sometimes your story is exactly what someone else needs to hear.